ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रसाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नाम्ने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषणवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वसादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, so I'll start sharing my slides. Let me go through them. And today the slide content is little, but talking subject is big. It's a vast topic and broad topic. We can go lots of time, lots of different directions also. So I'll share some thoughts and we'll have a nice discussion also. Uh, so the topic today is why do bad things happen to good people? In fact, this is one of the very important topic and one of the more pondered topic that is pondered by scientists, philosophers from time immemorial. Actually, people, some if you don't have this answer to the right question, especially when we are in distress, then we can even reject God, thinking that God is not there or God is not not either not aware or not powerful or not loving. Like that, somebody can come to that conclusion. In fact, apparently there's an author called Kushna, it seems, some church leader, Christian church leader. He wrote a book with this title, it seems. And that's what he analyzes in the book. That is God omniscient? That means, is he all-knowing? He knows everything? Maybe he doesn't know because sometimes he's not saving people when bad things are happening to good people. Second question he asks is God all-powerful? Maybe he's not all-powerful. Maybe Satan is more powerful in some circumstances. That's why sometimes he's not coming to rescue of good people like that. And third question he asks is, maybe God is not all loving because sometimes we do so many bad things. Maybe he doesn't love us anymore. That's why he let bad things to happen to good people also. Like that, he analyzes all these three things, it seems, and he leads to atheism basically. But we know that God is all those three things. He's omniscient, that means he knows everything. And God is all loving also. And God is all powerful also. Then why still this happen? That's a question we'll address today. So in previous sessions, you might have heard one term called Sachidananda. God is Sachidananda. That means God is eternal, full of knowledge, and blissful, all blissful like that. And then you must have also heard in one of the sessions that we are living entities, our souls, we are part of God. That means we also have the same three characteristics. We are eternal, that means always being there, and then full of knowledge, and then full of bliss. Bliss is a lot better than happiness. Happiness comes and goes. Bliss means very happy like that. So we're all blissful. Then if you're part of God and God is all powerful, all loving and omniscient, then we're also supposed to be blissful. Then how come some bad things happen to good people also, even though we don't do anything bad to anyone? That's a topic we can discuss today. So I'm not sure if it's covered like this, but I will mention something as a background of what we discussed in the last sessions in a different way, totally different perspective, just to give a snapshot. So Bhagavad Gita talks about 5 important topics. This is also introduced in Bhagavad Gita as it is introduction of the Bhagavad Gita as it is also. So one topic is called Ishvara or God. Second topic is called Jiva or soul, living entities like us. And third topic is Ishvara, Jiva, material nature or the world around us. That is called Prakriti in Sanskrit term. So material nature. And then Kala or time. And then fifth one is called the karma. Or karma is a Sanskrit word, has many meanings. One of the meaning is activities that we perform. And their meaning is reactions that we get from the activities we perform like that. We'll explore that topic more. So it's important. I'll go through next slide maybe. Let me see. The law of karma. Okay. Okay, what is karma? So I want to introduce the topic a little bit more about other topics a little bit. So you have a full grounding on this topic also. So in the past sessions, again, I'm explaining in a nutshell way what you already learned in 4 sessions. So Ishvara or God, what did we learn? We learned there is only one God with different names like that. And then others are subordinates to the one supreme God, and they're serving him like that, we learned. And then we learned that that particular one God is a supreme controller, is a source of everyone. That is the definition of God, absolute truth, like that we might have heard about that term also. Is the source of everything we see, all of us and all the things we see. Everything is coming from one person. If something is not coming from him, something is coming from his father, then that person is actual God. So that is about God. And also God is a supreme enjoyer, supreme proprietor, and supreme controller. So because everything belongs to him, he has the right to enjoy everything like that. And he can control everything also because everything is coming from him. So he has a full control basically. That's about the first topic of Bhagavad Gita in brief way. Second topic of Bhagavad Gita, we are spirit soul. We discussed we are not the body that we are seeing right now, gross body. We discussed we are not the subtle body, mind, intelligence, or false ego. We're inside a soul that has consciousness that is spread throughout the body. And we all have desires. So that, and we are part and parcel of Supreme Lord. And we are actually meant to serve him. So that is about as a second topic of Jiva or living entity or soul like that. Now, third topic is material nature. We briefly must have talked in the other sessions about material modes of nature. Uh, I don't know how much is already touched. I'll briefly touch on that topic because that's foundational for this karma topic. That's why I'll revise it a little bit. So, so the world around us is also termed as, in Bhagavad Gita terms, is also called as material world or material nature. And what we are seeing around us is just part of one universe. Like this, there are so many universes. Actually, if you take a bag of mustard seeds, and then each mustard seed like a universe, so many universes are there. And each of them is so complicated with 14 planetary systems. Earth planet is just one small part of it. And scientists don't know everything also yet. Some of the planetary systems, they don't even know. So, so this is called material world or material creation. This whole set of millions of universes are called material world. And apart, that is just 1/4 of the whole creation of God. But then there's another 3/4 of creation of God that's called spiritual world. So that's a place where everybody is happy, enjoying, blissful, always like that. And our original nature of Satchidananda, eternal, knowledgeable, and full of bliss is manifested there in the spiritual world. That is where we're in connection with the Supreme Lord. Now, there's a minority here in 1/4 of the creation. The minority of us are here right now. So it's a big topic, but essentially, couple of reasons why we are here is because originally, when we are seeing that always God is enjoying, so we got this desire and we got this hatred or envy towards God. Oh, why does he need to enjoy all the time? I also want to enjoy like that. That's the explanation given by our acharyas. It's a very big topic. In fact, this question is discussed in many different directions, and sometimes there are no simple answer also for that question. Why did we come here like that? But the simple answer given by acharyas, our teachers, is that because we had the desire, I want to enjoy separately from Krishna. I don't want Krishna to enjoy. I don't want to give him enjoyment like that. That's how we came here. But of course, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that once we go back, same thing will not repeat again. Krishna gives that guarantee for us, promise to us like that. That's a good news actually. So now we came back with a desire to enjoy. So now sometimes we hear about a child, for example, a mother and a daughter. Daughter wants to cook, but mother thinks that if daughter needs to cook, she cannot handle the fire because it's dangerous for her. Or if you're offering arti to Lord with the incense stick and fire, small child wants to do it. We tell them, no, no, I'll give you a toy so you can do it with the toys like that. Similarly, mother will give you a toy kitchen, toy stove, toy vessels, so she can play around with it. But the child will be happy for some time. But after 4 5 hours, when it's time for hunger, food, whatever the child cooked in the toy kitchen, she cannot eat herself, right? She'll come to reality. Oh, I need food. She'll go to mommy. Mommy, I want food. Then mommy will give you real food. It's like that. Krishna Lord gave us this material world and the opportunity to enjoy in this material world. Simultaneously gave us an option to understand that I cannot enjoy here alone. Only by serving Lord, I will enjoy like that. He gave that opportunity to us. So similar to the how mother gave her toys to kitchen, but is not really satisfying the hunger. Like that, we're not really fully satisfied just by enjoying different things in this world, whatever way with our senses we have. So in other words, this material world is also compared like a prison. It sounds like a harsh thing, but it's an important analogy, is useful analogy. It's described that government, when they're planning a new city, for example, or a new state, they are not only plan for schools for children, hospitals, housing for everybody, parks, a sanitary system, electricity system, all those things they'll plan, right? Water distribution system, all those things they'll plan. Along with that, they'll also plan a prison also, police stations and prison. Why? Because they know not 100% of people will follow the laws of the state. There'll be some minority that will not follow the laws of state. So what could government do? Government has two main choices. One is whoever is not following, kill them, each one. That's one option they have. Second option they have is give them an opportunity to reform or correct themselves somehow. And then for that, they create a prison. That means it's a facility. It's actually correction facility. And sometimes it's also used as that word is also used by government sometimes. So that way people are sent there to do two things. One is for them to understand that they did something wrong and they should not do it again. They need to correct themselves. But at the same time, they should get basic amenities of food, shelter, and clothing so they can live little bit peacefully. But at the same time, it should not be so peaceful that they'll think jail is the best place to live in, right? Otherwise, everybody wants to go to jail only. If jail is treating nicely with food and shelter without any work like that. So that's why government makes this program that there is some facility, nice facility to stay, but also there is enough difficulty for them to think that, okay, I don't want to come back here and this is a filthy place. I don't want to come back to this jail like that. So similarly, this material world is also compared to that prison house or correction facility, so that we get a facility to enjoy, but at the same time, we get reminders from time to time. On the first day we met, I talked briefly about there are three kinds of miseries in the material world. One is miseries caused by our own body and our own mind. Mind can be shown here or here sometimes. Okay. Miseries caused by our own body and mind. We know what are miseries caused by our body and mind. Different diseases come for the body, diseases come with the mind, like mental health diseases like that. Or sometimes I'm only anxiety. I don't know whether my boss will take me out of the company. I don't know how long I'll have job. I don't know whether I can pay mortgage, that I bought a big home or when I pay mortgage. So many anxieties we can have. We can even have anxiety that I don't know what will happen to my children, what will happen to my wife, how will my wife treat me, how will my children treat me when I become old. So many anxieties can be there for mind, right? So misery is caused by body and mind. There are Sanskrit terms also for these things. And there are three terms: Adhyatmic Klesha, Adibhautika Klesha, and Adidevi Klesha. But I'm keeping it simple. Misery is caused by our own body and mind. And then also, misery is caused by other living entities. So our Vedic scriptures are so profound that they give everything in foundational principles. That way you can analyze everything, they'll fit into these categories. All the problems you can think about in the world, they cannot escape these problems that we're talking about. Three miseries. First, we talked about miseries caused by one's own body and mind. Second misery is caused by other living entities. Other living entities means it can be humans, it can be animals like dogs, elephants, crocodile, whatever, snakes, birds, insects, even bacteria and virus also. We know COVID virus now, and bacteria we get sick sometimes. So misery is caused by other living entities. It can be even by wife and husband, children, every friends, boss, colleague. So many ways you can, so many people can cause a difficulty, right? So that is a misery is caused by other living entities. And third misery in the material world, these are the characteristics of material world. Third misery is that misery is from natural disturbances. That means these are caused from demigods, the heavenly personalities, like floods, earthquakes, tsunami we heard about, and then very, very hot temperatures, very cold temperatures. All these things are miseries caused by some divine personalities. They're happening at big scale, not a small scale. Nobody is turning a screw for earthquake to come, right? Nobody is turning to do anything to do flood like that. So there are three miseries that are common in the material world. So even if we think that we can do everything, adjust our life, everything nicely, we'll have this or that or this problem at any time in life. That's guaranteed. So, so that means our spiritual life is not pessimistic. There's a way we can live in this life happily, and we can go back to a permanent place of God where we can live happily also. We can still live in an optimistic way in this life and next after death also. So now in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also describes the material world as Dukkalem Asasvitam. Dukkalem means a place of misery or suffering, not a great place. Okay. And then Asasvatam means temporary, not a permanent place. That means we live here and it's only everything is temporary. We get happiness for few minutes, few days, few months, few years. After that, some suffering is coming like that. So it's a temporary place and a place of misery like that. So now the other nature of material world is that we are controlled by the three modes I was trying to describe earlier. So we're all, remember I gave the analogy of a prison house where we're all like in the prison right now in the material world. So in the prison house, sometimes prisoners are bound with some chains. The chains can be for this analogy of modes of nature, they can be gold chain, iron chain, or a silver chain, and an iron chain, for example, three types of chains. Similarly, we are controlled by something called modes of nature, modes of material nature. Material nature consists of these three modes. These are very subtle, but they have an effect on us. So these modes are called Sattvaguna or mode of goodness, Rajoguna or mode of passion, Tamoguna or mode of ignorance. So all of us, whether we accept it or not, we're being affected by these three modes. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains these modes in detail, but I'll give the essence of them today. So, for example, all of us have these three modes, but at any point of time, one of them is dominating. That's all. We cannot say I don't have other modes at all like that. So let us say I'm dominated by mode of goodness. What is the characteristics of mode of goodness? Characteristics of mode of goodness is that I'm interested in gaining knowledge. I want to be kind to others. I want to help others. Then mode of goodness person is he sees things as they are clearly like that. These are some good things about mode of goodness. But what is wrong about, remember in the prison, if I'm bound by a chain, whether gold chain, silver chain, iron chain, doesn't matter. Still I'm bound, right? So mode of goodness is like gold chain. It's a nice chain because I'll be happy most of the time. But the drawback with that is I'm being bound to this material world because of the mode of goodness. So mode of goodness people are like scientists, poets, philosophers. They have enough money. Their life is going smoothly. So they're happy where they are. That means with the gold chain, they see happy. So they don't want to go beyond this material world to spiritual world because they're happy. That means they're conditioned by happiness. In one sense, happiness is binding for them like that. That's the drawback of mode of goodness. But most of the things are good things about mode of goodness. In fact, practicing devotees try to at least elevate to mode of goodness because that forms like springboard to go to spiritual world also. Springboard means like when a diver is diving in a swimming pool, they dive from a swimming pool, swimming board like that, right? You can imagine like that springboard that helps us to go to spiritual world like that. So that is about mode of goodness. Now next one is Rajoguna or mode of passion. This mode of passion is characterized by desires. So I want more like that. So the desires are such for when I'm affected by mode of passion, nothing is enough for me. I get a good job, I want a better job. I get a good wife, I'm worried why I married this wife. I should have got another wife. So like that, everything, there's no limit to it, greed. So that's the mode of passion, is about get more like that. So it's called hankering. That's a word used in Bhagavad Gita to describe mode of passion like that. So now another one is mode of ignorance. Let us say I'm influenced more by mode of ignorance. Then I'm not I'm not acting like mode of goodness person, trying to get knowledge or trying to help others. I'm not trying to act like mode of passion person, get more like that. But I'm very lazy. I'm sleepy all the time. I'm a procrastinator. I don't want to do anything. I rather lie down. I rather sit in the sofa, watch TV, just like that. That is a so laziness, madness, indolence. These are characteristics of mode of ignorance Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita. We was getting a preview of different sections of Bhagavad Gita through this course. That's why it's like sprinkles. When we read Bhagavad Gita in detail, you'll know even more foundational things among them. So basically, mode of ignorance people essentially, they're not doing anything much productive. They're just inactive most of the time. And that's why mode of ignorance people are also prone to intoxication, because they just want to forget stuff. They don't want to do anything about it. They just leave it alone like that. The inactivity is a characteristic of mode of ignorance. So we can all observe based on the symptoms and other symptoms given in Bhagavad Gita, what mode is affecting more currently to me like that. And then Bhagavad Gita gives us principles how to elevate from lower modes of ignorance, passion to goodness also. Bhagavad Gita has that knowledge for us to elevate ourselves in our knowledge. Another aspect is, remember I told you mode of goodness people, they can see things clearly as they are. That means they are able to see, assess the truth clearly. Whereas mode of passion people, uh, means person affected by mode of passion, they cannot see things clearly. Let us say I want to get a good big home. Okay. So my best friend is telling me, this is not a good time, Baba, for you to invest right now in the housing market. Housing market is going down. Put somewhere else the money. But because I'm affected by mode of passion, I don't listen to good advice also. Because I think whatever I'm thinking is best. And my desire is the one dominating. I want to get that at any cost. So if somebody is helping me, my friend is telling me that, oh, good, buy that, then he's my friend. But if somebody is telling me that, Baba, this housing market is going down right now, invest in mutual fund instead or something else, then that person becomes my enemy, because I don't see what is good, what is the right reality properly. I see only whatever is my desire. That's all. That is mode of passion. So the mode of ignorance is, I see the opposite. Somebody is telling me, don't do this, is bad for you. But I think, oh, they don't know better. I know best. Drinking alcohol is the best thing in life. This guy didn't know the taste of alcohol. He didn't see the real taste. He didn't get the real kick of alcohol. I only know best. And he doesn't know all the problems that I do deal with. That's why he's telling me don't drink alcohol. But actually, I know best. Alcohol is the best thing in life. Somebody invented the best thing like that. So it's like poison for a mode of ignorance person. Whatever is they're doing is like poison from the beginning to end. That means intoxication while drinking, it is a problem. Money is gone, health is gone, and long term, lots of effects of health and relationship problems. They cannot focus on anything. So many problems will come. So it's like poison from beginning to end, like Krishna discussed in Bhagavad Gita. Whereas mode of passion is like nectar in the beginning and poison in the end. That means while I'm desiring for it, I'm so happy. Wow, I'm going to get this home. I'm going to get this like that. But then I've struggled hard, and then finally, either it doesn't work out, or even if it works out, it gives me happiness for a short time. Then comes the misery part. So that is mode of passion is like nectar in the beginning and poison in the end. And the mode of goodness is opposite. When you have to serve somebody, when you have to give charity to somebody, it pains our heart sometimes. Oh my God, it's a hard-earned money. Why should I give somebody something? Or when you have to gain knowledge, you have to put focus and learn regularly. So then it's hard work. It feels like poison to us initially. But if you put that focus work consistently, in gaining spiritual knowledge, for example, or in doing something in life consistently to grow in life, then that gives a good results. That is called nectar at the end. That's how uh, Krishna describes about the three modes also in the life, like that. So, and again, there are lots of descriptions about this in the Bhagavad Gita. I'll touch some of them only today. Like, for example, the time of the day is also divided into these three modes. Early, early morning before sunrise, when everything is calm, like that, peaceful. That is a mode of goodness time. That is the time we practice meditation, we do yoga for body's health. That is the right time to do those things, because that is a very conducive atmosphere, because there are no disturbances. Everybody is not go, 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 not yet started. But after sunrise, people start to do all sorts of activities. That is called mode of passion, sunrise to sunset. And then that's when everybody is trying to fulfill their desires, right? One after another. Next is evening time, and night time is like mode of ignorance time. That means where people are trying to get retired, relaxed slowly to sleep, like that, right? So that's why it's called mode of ignorance. In fact, even this drinking alcohol, all these activities happen during the night time, if you notice, because they're mode of ignorance activities. That is why they're more prominent at that time. So that's how the three modes are, times of the days are also included. Bhagavata also talks about the foods that we are inclined towards eating. Those are also in the three modes of nature. For example, why am I telling all these things? This will help us to introspect what mode is affecting me more, and then do differently to get to the mode of goodness, like that. So the foods that are we are inclined to more, like for example, mode of goodness, right? Mode of goodness foods improve our health, improve our general vitality, energy. They produce happiness, like that. So some examples Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita. Let me see if I have the material. Yeah. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, are foods that are juicy, that are fatty. Fatty means not the animal fat. He's talking about like milk, ghee, those kind of things. So, and so fatty, juicy, and yeah, those are the examples of mode of goodness food. And then mode of passion food. Oh, actually, he says wholesome and pleasing to heart. That means primarily vegetarian food, like that, right? This helps us to grow healthy wise also, health wise also, and mind also to be calm also. Whereas mode of passion food is too bitter, or too salty, too spicy, too sour, too hot, too pungent, dry, very dry, or burning. Like when you're eating also, it's burning your, like that you need to eat. And then when you're passing stool next day also, same thing. That's mode of passion food, like that is described. So then what is the result of this mode of passion food? It causes distress, misery, and diseases. So that's why mode of passion food is not so encouraged in for spiritual life practice. And then next is mode of ignorance food is described in Bhagavad Gita as the food that is cooked more than 3 hours ago, and then cooked more than 3 hours ago. That means old food, stale food, decomposed, tasteless food, putrid food, like that. For example, um, actually meat, the animal is killed long time ago. By the time it comes to our home, it's killed long time ago. It's like a decomposed food, basically. So that is one of the example of mode of ignorance food, like that. And then also food that is remnants of somebody ate something and they left it for a long time, and then we eating it. That's also mode of ignorance food, like that. And then uh, this food, obviously we can imagine it will only cause bad things. Bad diseases will come, and our consciousness will go down. We cannot focus properly, like that. Those are the effects of mode of ignorance food also. So basically we follow based on the mode that is influencing us at this time. We act accordingly. In fact, material nature influences our actions. That means, depending upon the mode I'm in, I'm inclined to do certain things. For example, if I'm more influenced in mode of goodness, like I described, right? I'm inclined to gain knowledge. But influenced by mode of ignorance, I don't want knowledge. I rather sleep, like that, right? So that's how we're actually naturally inclined to do certain things. That doesn't mean we are forced to do everything in a certain way. We're inclined to do a certain way. There's a difference. We'll discuss also. There's a destiny. There's a free will also. We have a choice to make every time. So that background I want to give you of mode of nature, and then we'll jump into some of the content in the slide now. So we'll go through what is, let me pull up everything in the slide so we can see everything together. Yeah. So karma in the Sanskrit word has many different meanings. One meaning is the activity that we are doing under the control of time and the influence of modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, like that. These are activities performed by living entities. Now, there is other meaning of karma. Karma means, like, remember we have the Newton's law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So even same law of karma is also like that. For every action, we get an equal or opposite reaction. Sometimes this can be instantly coming back. Sometimes it be delayed for after some time. We'll discuss that also, that topic also. So we talked about two meanings of karma so far. One is the activities we're performing according to modes of nature. Second meaning is the reactions we're going to get for the activities we're doing. Those are two meanings we talked about so far. Now, this is an important principle. We're accountable for everything we think, speak, and do, all of them. That means we must be aware of the consequences of our activities, so we do the right activity. Otherwise, whether we want it or not, we're going to get reaction for it, good or bad. So this is not meant to scare us, but this is not meant to help us to understand the right thing to do and be cautious in life and do the right things so that we can be happy now and future also. So that's important to understand. Some people think that, some people ignorantly think that, let me see the time. Okay, 8:06. Okay, good. Some people ignorantly think, oh, I don't want to know anything about, I should not do this, I should not do this. Because once I know it, if I do it, then I'll be bound by it. That's not true. Whether we know it or not, we have to face the reactions of what we are doing. So that's important understanding. Whether I know it or not, if I go on 495 highway and where the speed limit is 55, I drive 90 miles. I cannot say I came from India yesterday, so that's why I didn't know the speed limit. So they will still consider that as a mistake only. So if the policeman is nice, considering that I came yesterday from India, he might give me a warning. But still he considers it a violation of law only. So that's so even laws of material nature also work, laws of karma also work. But there's something we can do about this, because if there's nothing we can do about it, we don't need to know about it. That's why scriptures are wonderful. They not only describe about the problem, but they describe the solutions also always for us. So we'll go through some of them today and some more in the next session also. Next session coming up, I believe next Saturday. So let me complete the whole slide so we can see the whole content. I can go through one by one. This is one of the important principles we can learn. Okay. So first of all, even though we are speaking about laws of karma as if I know everything about it, but actually laws of karma are very, very complex. So complex that we can only touch some surface, some circumstances, some scenarios I can consider, but I cannot be expert in laws of karma. God's laws are so complex and nicely designed so that everybody gets proper justice. Nobody is left behind in a good way or bad way, both ways. So that's why it's very difficult to understand laws of karma. That's the first point. Okay. Second thing is, there are two types of karma in a broad way. Good karma are the pious activity, and the bad karma or sinful activity. So what decides good or what decides bad? Oh, I think this is good, that means it's good karma. I think this is bad, that means bad karma. No, they're laws given by God in the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we follow those laws, we do our work according to those laws, that is called pious activity. But when we do activities opposite to what God is saying in the scriptures, then that is what is called bad activity or sinful activity. So the point to be taken is, good or bad is not based on somebody saying good or bad. Not because I'm saying is good or bad. It's based on what scriptures are saying good or bad. So it's not my own mind's fertile concoction. That's the important thing to understand. Now, there are many intricate ways Bhagavad Gita describes, but we'll not get into those details. We'll keep it simple today. So the pious activity, sinful activity, good karma, bad karma. We can talk based on that today. So for many people, there are actually lots of sinful activities that we can commit. But these 4 activities are considered the foundation of sinful activity. That's why it's important for us to be aware of these activities and abstain from them. Stay away from them if at all possible. So that way, why are these sinful also we'll discuss. Okay. There are 4 pillars of religion as described. So these 4 sinful activities you're seeing on the screen: illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. These 4 sinful activities are sinful because each of them is directly opposing a religious pillar of religion. So some of the one is foundation of religion, like that. Eternal religion, not just Hindu, Christian, Muslim. Eternal Sanatana Dharma. What are those? We'll discuss one at a time. Illicit sex means, first of all, let us define what is illicit sex, right? Illicit sex can be defined as sex outside the marriage, for example. That's one simple definition of illicit sex. Another stricter definition is sex other than for having children. That's another stricter definition. But illicit sex, why is it bad? Because it is against the principle of cleanliness. That is out of the 4 pillars of religion, cleanliness is one of them. Cleanliness. So that cleanliness, why it is against cleanliness? So when I'm thinking about other person's wife, other person's children, other person's daughters, like that, other person's sisters, like that, the mind is contaminated. Mind is always thinking, oh, how will it be with them? How will it be with her? The mind is always thinking like that. It's a contamination. So because of that, I'm not focused on what I need to do, achieve in my life also. And I'm not being nice to other person also, because I'm in the enjoying mentality. I'm thinking about them to enjoy and exploit, not to serve, not in the mood of service. So that's why the cleanliness is gone. Number 1, illicit sex. Number 2, intoxication. This is talking about drinking alcohol, taking tobacco like cigarettes, even tea, coffee. Practicing devotees try to avoid, but that's a later on step for you. But intoxication at least means alcohol, like that. Alcohol, anything with alcohol, tobacco, like that, is intoxication. So why is this against religious principles? Because this drives the second pillar of religion, which is mercy, not mercy, truthfulness, then austerity, principle of austerity. So when I drink right, then I don't have sense of discrimination, of doing some austerity, doing some disciplinary things to focus on higher goals of life, whether it's spiritual goal or material goal even. The austerity will be lost when we're doing intoxication like that. That's why intoxication is not recommended for spiritual practitioners. Then, by the way, this for all religions, not just Hindu or Christian or Krishna conscious, but we'll talk about more about that. Third aspect is gambling. Why is gambling against the principles of religion? Why is it sinful activity? Because gambling is against the truthfulness principle. So when I'm gambling, first of all, as a practicing devotees, we understand that everything we have, everything everybody has, it belongs to God. And all of us belong to God. So I need to be nice to everybody. And then I need to take whatever I need only, minimal, and then give others opportunity to enjoy also, to use the service, use the property of God. But gambling, what is that? It's by gambling, my mind is trained to get a shortcut. How do you get more money? How do you get more money from others? So I'm thinking, I want to make everything mine. I'm not seeing everything is property of God. That's why I'm differing from the truth that everything is property of God. Instead, I'm trying to amass everything from others' property in easy way, like that. That's why gambling is considered a sinful activity. It's one of the gross sinful activities. Now, number 4, meat eating. Meat eating is considered a very sinful activity also. Why? Because it's against the 4th pillar of religion. What is the fourth pillar? Mercy. So we talked about cleanliness as first pillar. We talked about austerity is second pillar. We talked about truthfulness as third pillar. And then mercy is the fourth pillar of religion. So meat eating is against the fourth pillar of religion of mercy. Because all of us, whether animal, bird, insects, or human beings, we're all property of one God. So we're all sons of one God. So father will not be happy if one of the son is feeling bad. So that's why we, in order to kill meat, what we're doing, for the taste of my tongue, I'm sacrificing another animal. So that is why meat eating is against the principles of religion and it's a sinful activity. So that's another principle. So now the last point in the slide talking about concession. So somebody might ask, you're saying these are common to all religion, but I see some religions, they eat meat regularly. And somebody may say, in some religions, drinking is allowed. When they go to church, they give the wine actually. So then how come you're saying that all religions should follow this? Is not specific to Krishna consciousness? Because even in Vedic culture, there's a concession given to some people who cannot follow these regulations. For example, remember I talked about mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. There are some people who are influenced more by mode of ignorance. For them, if I tell them to do all these things, they say I cannot do them. So for them, the Vedic culture is so wonderful. There's a gradual elevation system for everybody. So even Vedic culture, even these things are allowed for certain people, but as a concession, not like a free license. Okay, you can enjoy as much as you want, not like that. Because you're not able to avoid it right now, you can take it limited quantity. We'll talk about two examples at least. Meat eating and what is it? Intoxication, we can talk a little bit maybe. At least meat eating we can talk. What is the time? 8:17. Okay, we'll talk about meat eating at least. So in the Vedic culture also, Vedas, there is prescription for somebody who's really wants to eat meat. They can eat meat, but what is given to them? There are certain regulations, certain rules they must follow. That is again, rules are meant to help them to grow beyond that. So for example, only on Amavasya day, that is I believe is once in a fortnight it comes. Amavasya day. That means on a dark, at the midnight time, that time they need to take an animal to a temple of Kali, like temple on the outskirts of the village usually. And then they need to kill the animal themselves, not somebody kills it, somebody makes a nice package and then we bring it home and cook. They need to kill themselves. And before killing, they need to see the eyes of the animal before killing. Because eyes are considered like a gateway to the soul. We can see other soul through the eyes. So they can see the pain that animal is feeling when they're about to kill. And then they have to say the word mamsa. Mamsa means I'm killing you now. Next life you can kill me. So all these rules and regulations are given. So when somebody has so many rules and regulations to follow just to enjoy a little bit of meat, what will happen naturally? They'll think that, oh my God, I cannot do all these things. I'll do once in 6 months. Then slowly they'll think, oh my God, why do you need to do once in 6 months also? It's painful. Let me not do it at all. That is the intention of Vedas, to gradually wean them out from the bad habit, sinful habit like that. But even that meat eating, they're supposed to eat smaller animals, not the cow. Cow is very precious and sacred. And Krishna loves cows. They can eat goat meat, they can eat chicken, like that. Not the cow. Cow is a very, very, very sacred animal with higher consciousness compared to other animals also. Because remember, I told after cow's life is human life usually. So you can eat other meat, not cow meat, chicken, goat, like that. But that also under regulated mechanism. So slowly, by regulation, you can slowly wean out of it. That is the intention, not a free license. Okay, Vedas are saying I can eat. Okay, I'll eat. Not like that. So next, another example I'll tell you about intoxication briefly. So, for example, even in this world, I don't know how much India, it is very common to know that there's a license for having a bar shop where they sell alcohol like that. I'm not sure how popular it is here to know. There's a license for everybody to have a shop, including to sell liquor. So government is sponsoring that shop to have that shop. That doesn't mean government is telling everybody should drink like that. Because they know some people will drink anyway. They're creating licensed shops so that people can get some healthy, relatively healthy, not poisonous alcohol at least. But if government bans it, in India, it's actually there are some states that banned it. What happens is they make their own alcohol. In the process, they make it worse and they drink and die. And they go to neighboring state and drink and come back. So to avoid all this, some states give licenses, but the license is not a free license saying that everybody should enjoy like that. So that's the other thing that's being described here. So as practitioners, we try to avoid these four sinful activities primarily. And beyond that, there are more things we can discuss in the next coming slides. But these are the four things we'll try to do. Then how do we do this? So for some people, it may feel like, wow, how can I avoid that? I cannot avoid that at all. These are basic things for my life. They are like necessity for my life. For some people, it feels like that. But the process of Bhakti Yoga is so wonderful. By chanting the holy name regularly and by practicing Bhakti Yoga, we get the strength. So something that feels is hard to do, we get the strength to practice them. That's the beauty of Bhakti Yoga path that you're going to hear tomorrow, next session also. The simple principles of Bhakti Yoga we can practice at life. That will really, many of us experience this. Many of us, I used to eat meat before. So, but I could avoid it because it is not a hard struggle for me. Because Bhakti Yoga gives us the strength to get a higher taste. So this feels like nothing. It's not a big deal. And then you also see the rationale behind it also, why we should avoid it. Then you can easily avoid it like that. So those are the few things. Let me go to the next slide. These are important concepts we'll cover to explain about karma. So now, remember we're talking about a preliminary knowledge of the law of karma, not a very advanced, okay? Because I cannot understand everything myself also. Because very complicated system, but wonderful system. So one important principle is law of karma is applicable only to human beings, not to animals, not to birds, not to spiders, not to insects. Why is that? Because animals act on their instincts. If they get a desire to eat something, they need to eat. If they desire to attack somebody, they need to attack. They don't have so much intelligence to control their instincts. They're so much bound by their instinct. So that is why animals don't have laws of karma. So remember in our session, I was telling that animals slowly deplete their karma and then they get their human life also. Gradually they elevate from aquatics to insects to birds to animals to human life like that. So they don't have any new karma they're accumulating. That is the important principle. Whereas as humans, we have this great intelligence we talked about in the first session. We have this special intelligence that is given to do beyond the four basic things that animals do: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. We are given a higher intelligence to make a right choice for our current life and for future also. Because we have this great intelligence to make choices, we're also affected by karmic reactions. What are the karmic reactions we talked about, right? So if I do some good activity, pious activity described in scriptures, then I'll get some good points, good karma points. But if I do some bad karmic activities, like hurting somebody by words or by hand, whatever that is, or by cheating, then I'll get some bad karma points. So those are reactions I'm talking about. Now, another principle of karma that helps us to understand how to see holistically is the instant and delayed karma. For example, sometimes I used to see jokes like that, comedy sometimes a little bit, right? So sometimes somebody pushes somebody and they get hurt, and then that person, because they got hurt, they fall on somebody, like that. Ultimately it comes back to me right away. So I try to push this guy, but somebody finally comes and pushes me. So I fall down. So that's the called instant karma. That means I'm getting instant reaction for whatever I did like that. That is one. But that is easy to understand. Most people can see, oh, I did this bad thing, so that's why it has happened right away. Like that they can see immediately, especially if it happens in minutes, hours, days. Many people can see. But most people have a problem to understand. I've been such a nice person from the time I'm born. Why am I getting problems? That is what is hard to understand. That's why this delayed karma is essential to understand. So here some examples are given. So when you sow a mustard seed in the ground, you get a fruit in a month, it seems. That means these seeds, mustard seeds, can fructify in a month itself. But if you put a coconut seed in the ground, that takes 20 years to give me a fruit. Trees should grow up and finally I get a fruit after 20 years. So for 20 years, I don't know, somebody put a seed 20 years ago, right? But it's happened 20 years ago. Now I'm benefiting from that. Similarly, another example is the silos, they call it. That means in olden days, in villages at least, there's a big silo where grains are stored, like rice, like the rice, wheat, like that is stored. What happens is farmers every year put their grain crop that is harvested, they put the grains on the top of the silo. And the bottom of silo, they have a tap kind of thing or a hole. From there, they take the grain. Now, I'm taking from bottom only. I'm not taking from top anytime. So let us say I have the crop for last 5 years on the top, bottom to top. So 5 years ago, I got a very bad crop. That means not good rice I got. So now, but this year, my harvest was wonderful rice. But I put on the top of the silo. Now, when I open the bottom and try to take out rice, I get this year rice or 5 years back rice. 5 years back rice, right? So then I'm getting bad crops, bad rice. So I can think, I actually put all for wonderful rice this year. But how come I'm getting bad rice? This is a wonderful example for us to understand the delayed karma. That means I might have done some 20 years, something 20 years ago or 20 lifetimes ago, because I'm an eternal soul, right? I'm not this body. That means I am accountable for my actions done in the past lives also, not only this life. So some of those actions get reactions right away in that lifetime. But if some of them are working like coconut tree, they take 20 lifetimes to fructify. So now I might think I'm a good person. I'm being so nice to everybody I see. I'm so kind to everybody. I never hurted anybody. Why am I getting suffering? One of the way to understand is because I did something, some bad karma in the past, either this life or past life like that. That's a wonderful answer to understand. Then we'll not feel bad. When we take, then we can learn to take responsibility for our own actions in the past like that. That's one principle. However, we should not apply this principle to others. We can apply this principle to ourselves. Because when I apply this principle to others, what happens is naturally I cannot have compassion for others. So then I'll think, oh, okay, he must have done something bad. That's why he's suffering. Let him suffer. No. Bhagavad Gita encourages us to be compassionate. Krishna likes to be compassionate. Krishna likes us to help each other. Krishna likes us to serve each other. So I should not apply principles in judging others like this. I apply it to myself like that. That's the principle of instant and delayed karma. Then another principle is, another example. This is a common question also. People say, oh, there is a small newborn child. He's only one month old, but he got a big disease of cancer. Why does he need to suffer? Child is very, very pure. He didn't do anything bad. Why is he suffering? So Bhagavad Gita has answers for all these questions. Because remember, that soul in that 1 month baby is coming from the past life baggage, is carrying. So because of that, he not only has the mind intelligence false ego, but he has also karma from the past lives. So that is why he's actually taking some reaction from the past life actually. That we don't understand. Then we blame, we think, why is it God so merciless like that, we'll think. So that gives us understanding like this. So Bhagavad Gita gives a big picture of understanding of our life. So we can understand things happening in the life, for us and for others, so that we can help each other. We can be grow happily and focus on our growth also in materially and spiritually. Now, the next principle is individual and collective karma. This is important because sometimes people are going, there's a picture about a earthquake here. So whole city, whole country is down with everybody suddenly gets big distress. Remember we talked about the Adi Devika Klesha. This is one of the miseries we get. But why do people all get collectively one time? For example, all the people in the family get COVID one time. Or there's a whole train that goes through a bridge of on the river, and the whole train falls down the river. Everybody dies one shot. Or there's a bus going in the hill, bus falls in the ground. This is called a collective karma. Why? Because they all did something common, bad karma in the past. So the material nature arranges in such a way they all happen to take the same bus or same train at the same time, or same Titanic ship at the same time. And then they all went down at the same time. So that is the definition of individual and collective karma. Individual karma means whatever I did, I'll get a reaction for it. So I'm only, right now I got COVID 2 weeks ago, but my family members are all fine. That's the individual karma, for example. Whereas all of us are grounded. We don't have power in our home, no heat in our home. So we're suffering with cold in winter. That is a collective karma. Like that. That's the principle. Then we talked about ignorance of the law is no excuse to escape reaction. That we talked about already. Then important principle. If everything is happening, remember so far the way we are explaining, is everything happening because I did something wrong, something good before, that's why I'm enjoying like that, right? Then if everything is predestined, why should I work? I should just live like this mode of ignorance, and whatever happens to me happens. So the principle to understand from Bhagavad Gita is that the past karma that I did is only creating the situations in this life, in my life. That means I got this particular human body. I got this birth in India. I got particular parents in India. All that is coming because of the past karma. But what do I do with this body? That is still up to me. That free will choice is still left to me right now. So I'm put in a circumstance based on my past karma. But what I do right now creates my future for me. That is important understanding to have. For example, let us say I'm addicted to smoking, for example. Then what happens is because of addiction, I'm compelled almost with the mind. I need to smoke, I need to smoke, I need to smoke like that. But still I have a choice. What is the choice? I can keep my cigarettes far away from me, or I can tell my wife to keep cigarettes with me and tell her, give me only once in an hour, not every minute or not every 10 minutes. I can tell her. Then I can tell her next month, give me once in 2 hours only. I can tell her next month, give me once in 4 hours only. I can do that. Or I can say, no, I need to act on it like animal. I need to act on instinct. So I can keep all the cigarettes right away here. While doing office work also, I keep it here only. And I smoke, or I get electronic cigarettes and smoke. So I have a choice, either to work around it or to deal with the conditioning that I got in the past. Similarly, our destiny is like that. We all have a choice to make to improve our life. In fact, that's why we are learning this knowledge scriptures, because with the knowledge of scriptures, we can learn what is the right thing to do and act accordingly. So we make a bright future for ourselves like that. So let's go to next slide. Let me pull up whole slide. Okay. Yeah, good. So this is another important principle. Let us say, is a good karma pants and bad karma, do they cancel each other? They do not cancel each other. That means, let us say I helped 100 people. I get a lot of good karma. But then I hurted 50 people. Then I get bad karma points, right? It's not because I helped 100 people. Now good karma points is so much, bad karma points so much. So they'll nullify each other. Zero bad karma. No, it doesn't work like that. What happens is, I need to enjoy for this good karma that I accumulated in my this life or next life.
and then I need to suffer for the bad karma points I get. Both I need to do. And remember the principle I was talking about? Oh, this is the next point. Both good and bad karma are both binding. What does it mean? This means in order to enjoy these good karma points, I need to take a birth again in this material world. Or in order to suffer these reactions, I need to take a birth in this material world. So both of them are binding to material world. But the devotion service is the process that you'll hear more in the next session also, Saturday. Is the process of akarma. Akarma means no reaction. Sometimes it's translated as inaction, but in this context, I'm using akarma as no reaction, akarma, a karma, like that you see here. So to do that, to do escape from these reactions, so what we need to do is akarma. How do we do akarma? When we do something for the pleasure of God, then that is doing like selfless service, selfless job. When we do that, what happens is it cancels out the old reactions also, both bad and good reactions, and also helps me not to get any new reactions. Otherwise, normally when I'm speaking right now, actually I'm killing so many insects. I don't know whether you are aware of or not, aware or not. Right now I'm killing so many insects just by speaking, by drinking water, by walking on the road. So we cannot escape loss of karma easily. But if I'm doing this for Krishna's pleasure, then it's akarma. That means I'm not getting sins, even though insects are getting killed still. But I'm not getting reactions for it. No bad karma is not growing up. That is one point. Second point is the old bad karma also is going down because I'm speaking for Krishna now. So that's the good news. So that's what Bhagavad Gita helps us to prepare our life for. To do akarma, that way old reactions are gone and then no more new reactions. See, that's how we handle anything, right? In life, let us say some bad situation happening. We first make sure it doesn't get worse, first of all. That means no new reactions. And then we take care of whatever damage we did, we clean it up. For example, water spilled over. We try to make sure it doesn't go to my books. It goes to some other direction. And then we take care of the spill later on. Like that, we take care of no new reactions, and all the old reactions also goes away with akarma. That's how we'll prepare our life for the death. Why death? Because that death, depending upon what we're thinking at time of death, we get the next life. So that's what will be described in the next session also will be there. And also you probably heard in one of the other session also, this principle, based on what we think at the time of death, we get that destination, like that we heard. For example, we hear a pastime of Bharat Maharaj, who thought about a deer because he's affectionate to deer. In the next life, he became a deer body. He gets a deer body, like that. Like that is that principle of reincarnation works like that. Let's say I have a dog, I'm so attached to my dog. And at the time of death, I'm thinking about dog, I'll become a dog next life. Again, I'm making it so simple. There are so many complicated things, like I will be thinking about dog and my wife at the same time. So what will happen to me? Like that, so many questions might fly around in our head. But these are simple examples we can discuss. There are more complicated things, but right things is done. So this is the principle of Bhagavad Gita. Different types of karma are described. We already talked about two of the things. Pious activity we talked about. That's based on scriptural directions. That's called a karma, just karma. And then vikarma is something scriptures say don't do it, we want to do it. Something scriptures say do, we don't want to do it, like that. For example, scriptures say don't go with shoes to temple. I'll say no. Why do I want? My shoes are neat and clean. I want to go in the shoes to the temple. So that is a vikarma. You are accumulating sinful reactions. Scripture say don't eat meat, Baba. No, I want to eat it. I love it. Let me eat. That is a vikarma. Then akarma is what we talked about. There's no reaction coming from that activity. This is the best activity. Actually, for me to come to Krishna consciousness, this was a wonderful principle I learned, akarma. Then I learned that this is how I can go back to spiritual world. I can be happy always. So that is the biggest principle that is motivating me. So many people also will in Krishna consciousness. So now there is example given here. Soldier fighting on behalf of the country. So a military soldier is fighting on the war, Iraq or somewhere. Then he's going to kill some 100 people. They'll get a medal. Wow, you kill 100 people. But after the war is come over, he comes back home. Neighbor doesn't messes up the lawn or something little bit. So he goes with the gun and shoots the neighbor. So then, same government who gave medal will punish the soldier. So this is the same thing that's being described here. So if you're doing it for the God, then there's no reaction. If the doing for the government, soldiers doing for the government, there's no reaction for his killing people also. But if he's doing for his own self, because he got angry that the neighbor messed up the lawn, then he has to suffer the reaction, which is the government will punish him, jail him, whatever punishment they need to give like that. So these are a few things. So the next session will be interesting for you because it takes all the sessions you heard so far and tells you how to practice yoga in our modern day life today and how to specifically perform this akarma also. It's a wonderful session. It's a culmination of all the sessions next Saturday. And the speaker is also wonderful, Prem Dham Prabhu. He has a lot of experience and realization and knowledge. So you can hear from him on how to perform akarma, how to start on this path and how to grow in this path like that. And we're always here to always answer any questions you have anytime. So I'll pause here. So we heard basically the answer why do bad things happen to good people is they may be good in this life, but they might have done something bad in the previous life. That is why that's the real answer. Why do bad things happen to good people? Same thing also. Why do good things happen to bad people also? Somebody is always troubling everybody, but they're enjoying a lot of wealth, a lot of money, a lot of fame. Everybody thinks they're great. Why? Because they had some good karma points from past life. So they're by enjoying now, even though they're cruel, they're depleting the good karma points. But because they're continuing to do bad things, they're increasing the bad karma points. I mean, they'll suffer later on. That is the essence of this question. Actually, this question helps a lot of people to have faith in God and practice spirituality nicely also. So I'll pause there for any reflections you might have or any questions you might have. Feel free. I'm happy to answer whatever I know. If I don't know, I'll ask my seniors and tell you also. Yeah. Anything made sense in today's session or any questions you have? No, it was a fast track.
Hare Krishna. I thought this was wonderful. I've been able to.
I cannot hear your voice. Why is that? Let me see my speaker.
It may be my headphones.
Oh no, I can. Yes, my speaker volume was less. Yeah.
Now okay. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This has been incredible. The last like 2 sessions have been kind of on point. I'm traveling right now, and like the people that I'm going to see, the issues that they're dealing with, we've been talking about them like on the day, and I can't plan that,
Yes, God's mercy. Yeah.
So it's been really, really nice. I had one kind of question, and I kind of figured it out as we continue to talk, but I just want to get your take on it. So in terms of the mode of goodness and passion and ignorance, you talked about the transition. So it's like you start with goodness, you start with like the hard work. It feels like poison, but then you do it enough, and then the nectar comes. The passion, it's nectar at first, and then eventually it has to come down, so it becomes poison. The ignorance, though, so that to me felt like a positive and a negative of each one. With ignorance, I guess I was wondering, how does that transition? Because for me personally, I've dealt with intoxication in a former body of mine, and I didn't enjoy the taste of it. It wasn't anything in the beginning. Well, maybe it was in the beginning, where I was using it to make me feel better or something like that. And then later, so would that be like the same as the passion, like going from nectar to poison?
Very good question. Yeah, for the person drinking, it might feel like nectar. But the person who's objectively seeing from outside, they know while they're drinking, what they're doing is they're delaying their thinking about the problems for a minute, for a day, for an hour, few hours. Actually, they're trying to escape from the problems for
Right.
some time. But ideally, we can escape from the problems by not doing anything about them without intoxication also. Or I can escape from the problems by doing something about them. Like that, right? Both options are available. The mode of ignorance person chooses not to do anything and also pretends as if nothing exists, because during that time when they're intoxicated, they're thinking that there's nothing happening. Everything is nice, happy now, right now. So for that person, it feels like nectar. But actually, by delaying not doing anything about it, it's as a poison for them right now also. And you already understood the after effects of it is also poison, right? That we know, health-wise, relationships-wise.
Right.
That we know the nectar poison later on we know already. But the right now it is why is poison is because they're doing something. Actually, another good example that might tell you about ignorance is that there's a nice teacher called Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He gives this example. The mode of goodness per person, they think about something before they speak or before they do something. Okay, that means they're reflective and they're thoughtful before they do something. Mode of passion people, they do it and they think, okay, what did I do right thing now? That means they're not thinking before doing. They do it and then they're thinking. Mode of ignorance person is, oh, how did that happen? Like that. That means no action, right? That's another way to look at it. No action has a negative effects. That is considered like poison, basically. That's how I'm seeing it as poison from beginning to poison to end, like that.
Yeah. I like that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nice. You got that principle. That's good. We're all elevating ourselves to mode of goodness. Bhagavata helps us to come to mode of goodness and beyond the modes also later on.
And well, yeah, because gold chain is still a chain. You know?
You
so
got
we
it.
got to get to the next level.
Absolutely. Yeah, good. Very good point. And gold chain is helpful like a springboard to go to the next level also.
To get to the next level. Right.
Yes, good point. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for this message.
Welcome, Brandon. Yeah. How is it for you, Vasu? Last few sessions, you're liking them?
They're very informative and good.
Nice.
And good discussions.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Anything you like from today's session, Vasu?
Yeah, everything. That's what I'm telling. I'm enjoying. That's why I'm able to sit for the 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes.
Wonderful, Vasu. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Most attentive.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. Wonderful. Yeah. Sure then. So I think you can look forward to the next session. Next session is the culmination of the whole 6 sessions. It's very nice. Please pay attention to the session. It gives you practically what you can do day 1 also right now, today or that day itself or next day morning, what you can do also. Yeah. Okay. So we'll end here today then. We'll continue next sessions. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Let's offer obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. I'll send out the quiz. You can answer it.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. See you.